What a lot of you all don't realize is that your anxious attachment is not doing you any favors. You stalking the Instagram, you looking for him in every cafe bar, asking friends, even trying to figure out how to create fake profiles. It's really not helping. One thing I've been able to learn, especially through psychology, is people can smell desperation. Whether you're in sales trying to land the big client, or you're just trying to impress the guy or even the girl. Yeah, I'm talking to you fellas as well. People pick up on that, especially the type of people that you would like to attract, that secure partner. And it's one of those things that I've definitely realized is one of the most off putting and barriers to actually getting them to chase you, let alone attracting your dreams and manifestations. Yeah, I kind of just got straight into it, but this is the Black Cat Energy Podcast. My name is Air. I'm here down in beautiful Miami. I'm currently sitting at my desk overlooking beautiful water and just being grateful for the day. But this is one of those things that I was like, I need to hop on the podcast. I need to make a point of mentioning this because so many of my girlies do have a default anxious attachment style. And if you are really trying to harness that black cat energy, if you're trying to become the woman that gets chased rather than the woman that's asking where he is 24/7 or wondering if he's with another girl. This is for you. First and foremost, if you are somebody that is saying that you're black cat energy or that you're super confident or secure, but you actually do any of these things, honey, while I'm so glad you are here, you have not mastered this concept because the true black cat doesn't care about being the center of attention. She doesn't care about attracting all eyes on her. She validates herself, and it naturally happens. When you walk into a room, naturally eyes will turn to you and want to know what's up with your energy, want to know your name, and even try to date you or at least get to become friends with you. This is why anxious attachment style is really holding you back. Now, if you don't know what attachment styles are and you're just lost so far through this entire podcast, I talk about it extensively, not only on this podcast, but on my original podcast, Who Am I, with Eric Kramer. There is probably 5 to 10 episodes that cover anxious attachment, avoidant attachment, secure, and then fearful avoidant. And each of those actually has other experts as far as doctors, psychologists, and relationship coaches that all cover this with me to get really into depth, figure out what your attachment style is by default. And then, of course, you're always trying to reach that grand level of secure. Now, a secure person will definitely have moments where they feel like they need space or they feel like they need extra attention, but that doesn't mean that their validation comes from those moments. They're pretty comfortable with themselves, and it's more of a if they're giving, they like it, they want it, they don't expect anything out of it. And if they're receiving, it's like, okay, I don't owe this person anything. It's not because I'm just absolutely like undeserving of this and thus I need to validate it. No, it's overall going to be okay for you. So, whenever you are thinking of anxious attachment, I have a default, to be honest with you, of fearful avoidant. And that is a mixture of anxious and avoidant tendencies. I've worked phenomenally hard the last 3 years to overcome both of those. And in fact, what happened to me just during my journey, if you're curious, is I actually leaned more into my anxious at first, I would say about 4 years ago. And then I actually flipped the script and leaned way more into my avoidant the last 2 years. Now I've arrived in the last, I would say, year. Actually, I would say 2 years. I'm gonna say I flipped from anxious 4 years ago straight into avoidant for a year and then landed in secure. But it's not always a linear journey, just like healing in general isn't a linear journey. Ooh, that was a fun word to say. It actually reverted back to avoidant for just, I would say, a few months last year when I was like, I'm just, I'm gonna be independent self and avoid any type of like closeness or intimacy. But now I feel definitely that I have landed in my secure. I've been here for a while. I have my partner. He has his own journey that I'm not going to share on this podcast. But more or less, what I'm trying to say is it doesn't matter what you claim that you are, whether you're a doctor, a physician, superhero, black cat. At the end of the day, we're all human and we do have these defaults, and no one is perfect. No one is going to be secure their entire life at all times. That's just not how it goes. But a black cat is someone that is confident in knowing that they are on the journey and that they are constantly working on themselves, pouring in the self love, the self respect, and returning to peace. What I'm telling you right now is basically how to shift from the anxious into more of the secure. Or if you're someone that's in the fearful avoidant, more into the secure. But I'm actually going to talk more to my anxious babies right now than my fearful avoidant babies. My anxious babies, first and foremost, I need you to take them off the pedestal. It is going to be hard if you've had a crush on somebody for a really long time, or if you've wanted something for just an extremely long time. It could be a new promotion, it could be the man of your dreams, it could be whatever. I need you to take that down. And it's definitely easier said than done. For instance, up until about, I would say 2 weeks ago, I really was looking forward to opening up a yoga studio here in Miami. I had poured so much energy into it. I have definitely like had a lot of sleepless nights working on it, XYZ, but I had actually put it on a pedestal where it took a toll on me, on my mental health, on my spiritual health, on my emotional health because I had put it on a pedestal. And that's the type of energy that I mean. I need you to recognize the moments where you are self abandoning, which is the signature trait of someone that is anxious. They do not feel like they deserve love or respect to the level that they give it out to everyone else or something else. And that is kind of the heartbreaking consequence of living in anxious attachment is that you constantly are sacrificing your values, your beliefs, your desires, even your needs in order to achieve something else or try to attract someone else. And what actually happens is every single time what you are chasing after is running away from you because that is just the laws of the universe. If you continue to chase, whether it's him, whether it's a certain type of job or a certain goal, rather than stopping, freeze, and letting the energy come back to you, letting your power return back to you, you are going to constantly be worn out and frustrated and angry and crying yourself to sleep every single night because you just do not understand why this is not happening for you. So, first and foremost, we got to take that off the pedestal. I need you to purposely start looking at your life 5 years from now and seeing any flaws in the current plan that you have. If you are very much crushing on, Mr. Joe or whatever, we'll call him Hans just for the sake of a good name. If you're crushing on Hans and he is treating you like a toy or an option, I'm going to tell you, like, be Annabelle. Because at the end of the day, if you are crushing on Hans and he's treating you like a toy, that's going to continue to happen. It is very rare that a man changes his whole demeanor towards you. And the only exception I can say to that is whenever they are in their own healing journey and they are trying to do the self work to figure out what they actually need to be in order to be the healthy masculine. But that's not your job, baby. Remember, we're the black cat energy over here. We are not looking to go fix somebody else. If you need to go fix somebody, fix yourself. Like, I know that's a little bit harsh, but at the end of the day, work on yourself, because I'm willing to bet that there's something in you that you wish that was improved or fixed or just healed, whatever you want to call it. And I'm not sugarcoating this. I'm not being quote unquote spiritual air right now. I'm being tough love, let's get things going type of coach. Because if you want to attract whatever this is, pouring into yourself, working on yourself, motivating yourself is what's going to make that happen. So start looking for the flaws in your game plan that result as of what's happening right now, and start restructuring your life to actually pour back into you. You can never make a bad bet when you're betting on yourself. Black cats know that. And that's why they're constantly licking their claws and not licking paws of somebody else. Like, they know that no matter what, if they go by themselves, they're going to be okay. They're not looking for a partner. And if they find a partner and it's awesome, okay, they continue. But they also don't care to leave that partner whenever it no longer is in their best interest to have a relationship with them, aka it becomes toxic or negative or even abusive. And I'm not talking about cats anymore, okay? So, shifting into this anxious, I need you to start pouring into your ways of self love. Now, I'm not talking about doing face masks. I'm not talking about bubble baths and journaling. No, I'm talking about doing some serious work on improving your intelligence or a vocation or a skill or a talent, getting in shape. Like, I'm talking about things that require data and statistics to back it up to make sure that you're on the right track. Of course, I believe that you should definitely invest in your skincare, that you should definitely invest in things that bring you peace. I am someone that I will say 2024 has taught me I'm not necessarily looking to be happy, I'm looking to be at peace. And that is black cat energy. Is okay, what is bringing me peace? What is not stressing me out? And anxious attachment is by definition stressing you out. Like, you are worrying about something in the future, which I'm going to pause and actually take a little bit of that line and restructure it with us, because this is on the Who Am I podcast, but you might not have been able to listen to that episode. I really need you to go back and look that one up. But I want to explain something about being anxious and being worried and what's the difference. When you're anxious, you are living in the future. And when you're worried, you're living in the past. You're only worried because something had happened before and you're worried it's going to happen again. Versus if you're anxious, you are trying to play God or universe, whatever you believe in, and you are trying to control the uncontrollable. That's what causes you to be anxious. You cannot control if this person is going to treat you correctly. You cannot control if you're going to live happy ever after with them. You can't control pretty much anything. Like, at the end of the day, a lot of things are out of our hands. And that's not to make you sound like you need to have an external locus of control. It's just to be like very real that you do not control the moon, the sun, that there are things out there that just happen. And your job is to be able to figure out how to flow with the energy, not fight the energy. Nonetheless, worrying's in the past, anxious or anxiety is in the future, peace is found in the moment. Okay? And a lot of peace means you're going to have to start tearing down expectations that you've put on yourself or that society or others have put on you. For instance, one big thing that I've realized lately is marriage seems to be an expectation that everyone expected onto me. Like, I grew up in very small, town, village type of circumstances. I was told that, like, people get married relatively young or straight out of college, that you're supposed to go to college and, live happily ever after, have a couple of kids, and then you'll be happy. what I've realized is a majority of my girlies that kind of went down that path may be on their second marriage right now, or they don't have children, or have children that they may not want, to be honest with you. And that causes them more anxiety and worry than it does to slow down and learn who you are and what you want. Those expectations, those walls are really getting in your way. Now, I'm not saying I don't want to get married. Like, that's not the point of this. The point is to reflect on what your beliefs are, your values are, when you don't have the expectations of your mom or of society telling you who you need to be. That again is black cat energy. It is outside of everything else. How do you show up? What do you feel about yourself? When the lights are off and the pillow hits your head or the head hits the pillow, however you want to choose that narrative, are you at peace? Do you like yourself? Because if you are suffering through anxious attachment, odds are you don't like yourself. And baby, you deserve more. Like 100%. If you don't like yourself, then why would you chase after somebody else? What are they going to like? What are they going to be attracted to? Why are they going to marry you? If you want a man to marry you, pour everything into yourself. Now, I have some controversial thoughts on this where I'm like, okay, well, I'm never paying rent again to someone I'm not married to. Like, why would I? Like, if I wanted to pay rent, I would go get an apartment by myself and I would, pay rent. Like, if in a romantic relationship, I'm not paying rent unless we're married. That changed the game for me. Same thing, if you really understand how men work, pouring into yourself, especially for those girlies that want to get married that are not married, spending money on him is not doing you any favors. Spend money on your looks, spend money on your value, spend money on your education and leveling up and increasing your perceived value in his eyes. If you are trying to get married, that is the game plan. Not trying to win him over with gifts or doing 50-50 or whatever. If you really want to accelerate that path, the way to do it is to pour the money into you. Getting that lipstick or working and getting that gym membership, that yoga studio membership, whatever. Like, make it to where you are absolutely irresistible and he can't help but know that if he doesn't put a ring on your finger, that he's going to lose you. And you are not getting any younger, girly. Like, every single second, you're getting a little bit older. And what I can honestly say is if you can grasp this concept, a lot of these kids coming up are not investing in their well-being. They're not investing necessarily in their appearances or XYZ. So you don't have to fear the girly that's young. Like, back in, I would say, the early 2000s, there was this huge fear of like, he'll leave you for the younger girl. That's not really the case anymore, but he will leave you for whatever shiny thing walks in the door, whether she's older or younger than you, if you're not investing in yourself. And I'm just being really honest with you because I want you to win. I'm not looking to make you feel good about yourself. I'm looking to help you captivate your truest A+ black cat energy. With that, do I believe that you should be loved for who you are? Yes. But I don't believe that men right off the bat care about who you are. They care about what you look like and what type of value or perceived value you present off to the world. And maybe that comes in the form of education or a job or a skill set, whatever. But at the end of the day, these are all still things that you did for yourself. That was a little bit of a tangent, but I felt like that really needed to be heard as far as how do we lean you back into yourself, back into your power. And that is a way to start shifting anxious attachment right back into yourself to become secure. Because the moment you become secure with who you are, what you present and give to the world, you start receiving from the world. You start receiving more gifts, more love, more attention, whatever you're after. I don't know what you're after. I'm just giving you the toolkit to get what you want. And being So blunt about it. I love it. So here we go. If you want him to chase you, if you want to flip the script, whether you're single, looking to get married, single, having fun, or in a relationship, in a long term relationship, or maybe you're already married, it doesn't matter. All of these will still work. All of these will still help. You're probably wondering, well, I can't help myself. I'm going to wonder what he's doing when he's, out with his friends or XYZ. Okay, you still got it wrong. If anything, he should be wondering what you're doing. He should be curious what you're up to. Why is it that you don't have a life to the point where you have your phone stalking to see his stories, or, you know, you're twiddling your fingers wondering like where he's at or why hasn't he come home yet? Like, no, go invest in yourself. Make him wonder where you are at. Like, that's the key, because here's the biology difference. Men fall in love through vasopressin and women fall in love through oxytocin. Vasopressin is stressful. It's through the release of overcoming challenges and feeling like you won something. That's why there's the whole knight theory in the Prince Charming type of like scenario, or even gladiator, whatever you want to call it. Versus women are like oxytocin, hugs and kisses and quality time. Okay? So if you're trying to flip the script, use biology. Activate some vasopressin. That was my accent. Activate some vasopressin. So either way, what we're doing here at the end of the day is, instead of looking out, look in. Black cats look in. They invest in themselves. They focus on themselves. You can be loving and kind and supportive in a relationship, whatever you want to do. But if you are falling into the anxious or scared or worried or even chasing category, whether it's a man or whether it's a goal or a job, whatever, you need to flip the script. Okay, that is your black cat energy for the day.